How's everybody doing this evening? I'd like to welcome you to Colby Palooza 2013.
You're my boy, Blue.
We've taken a few years off, but we're back. We're back in action, and I'm pumped.
And we're back.
Lori, John, Jim, everybody, I'm glad that you put it back on. Got a live band just starting up, so hopefully you can still hear me. We're good? We're good? We're good. I'll start off, but I'd like to say it was kind of cool how Colby opened mine and Chris's eyes. At that young of an age, we didn't realize what an impact he would make on us for the rest of our lives. And to this day, we're still, it was the three of us, but me and him are still best friends. We talk about Colby all the time, and he gave us that motivation to go full blast at all times. 100% all the time, whether it's social life, work life, your personal relationships.
Live each day like your last.
Live each day like your last. Words of wisdom from Chris Bauer.
No, that was how Colby taught us to live.
I'll tell a quick story. Am I allowed to tell stories?
This could get dangerous.
So we're going in his Lexus. He's nice, got a nice car, and we're driving down the road, and we had some, was it mortars left over?
Yeah, you know the fireworks that you use for like professional fireworks shows. Yeah, we had those in the back seat of the car. And we seemed to think it was a smart idea to just throw them out the window at basically anything we felt necessary. And
in the country, though, in the country. We weren't hurting people.
Yeah, we weren't just throwing them at people. Maybe some cars that drove by, but it's neither here nor there, Lori. But anyway, one of these happened to get lit, and not by myself, but an acquaintance of mine, and it sparked.
Bauer was the one that dropped it.
Might have been me, but it blew up in the backseat of the car, and the car's driving down the road without anybody at the wheel.
As everybody bailed out of the car because we couldn't get it out in time, the car was still doing 5 miles an hour down the road, the gravel road.
We learned a valuable lesson that
and
night.
Exploded going down the road by itself.
We learned a valuable lesson that night.
What's that lesson?
Fireworks at stuff outside of the vehicle.
Words of wisdom again from Chris Bauer. But like we said, I think both Chris and I can agree that all fun aside, we learned a lot from him and from personal experience, and just to kind of leave a legendary status like he did and impact the 50 people that are here now and more to come, and through the connections he made. It's pretty cool.
We party pretty hard out here too.
We did party very hard out here. Sorry, Lori. Sorry, John. Harder than I think both of you would have liked.
We owe you a lot.
A lot. All right. Thanks, guys.
So I guess my fondest memory, of course, is falling in love with him. He was my first love. And I wouldn't change that for the world. My life would be completely different if I had never met him and fell in love with him. And I still feel his love every day. Good. Was his obsession with his car. He always wanted to fix something up with his car and make it faster. But he had a nice car. He loved his car, and we did spend a lot of time in his car, so.
Have you heard about the Lord? Have you heard about the lonesome loser? Have you heard about the lonesome loser?
when John and Laura lived in North Lakes, and they had an old piano in the front of their hallway of their house. And I went in there and started playing a song, and he's like, "What are you doing? How are you playing that?" And I showed him just a little bit of the song, and I came back 2 or 3 weeks later, and the kid learned the whole song from beginning to end. He was an amazing musician, and then the next thing he's like, "Well, I want to play the guitar too." So I brought him over a guitar, showed him a couple songs, and I said, "The rest is up to you. You know, I showed you the notes and got him a little book." And so I left the guitar actually over here for about a year. And, you know, I'd come back over, and that's back when I wasn't playing in a band. I was just kind of playing for family and friends. And so I'd come back over here, and kind of upsetting as a little kid. You know, I showed him how to play a song, and he passed me up in about, it seems like in just a few months, he was playing lead all over the neck of the guitar. And then his mom said, "Well, let's get him a guitar." So we got him a nice Martin, and it's up there in the octagon up there on the shelf. But anyway, he was a great kid, and I got some more stories later, but we had a lot of fun with him in his short life, so we're going to get back to it, and thanks for coming.
Well, I know everyone has something else they could be doing tonight, so it's very special to me that everyone decided to be here. And I'm not going to say a lot about Colby because we have some of his friends who are going to be coming up, and family members, and we just need to all understand that we need to embrace every single day, every moment of every day, because we never know what tomorrow might hold. And so, that being said, I would like to have Laura Meyer, Kinsey Crosby, and Jamie Hepking come up just for a second. They don't know that I'm doing this. When Colby had that accident, these are the three people who held me together, who did basically everything for me. And his funeral, his celebration of life, just Kinsey promising me that she was not going to give up on me. And I said, I remember squeezing her hand. I'm sure she may still have claw prints. But I said, I've lost Colby, and I can't ever imagine losing you too. So I have a little bracelet for each of them, and they say love. And everyone who knows me knows that I love to live, and that's what life's about for me, is just loving every single moment and of every single day. So thank you guys for coming, and enjoy the night. And if you guys would like to say anything, you're welcome to, but I love each of you so much.
I would just like to say that I think it's amazing how Lori has embraced this situation and has turned it into something totally positive. And I think everybody should look at that as, you know, that life is a celebration for everybody, whether you're here or not here, and we continue to celebrate Colby.
And I want to thank everyone for being here. Obviously, Colby was very loved. And to John and Lori for bringing us all together and for accepting me into your family, because it's been huge in my life. Love you guys.
Okay, a few things about Colby. He's my brother for over 10 years, and ever since I can remember, really, before I was 5. Few things. He was always the most creative person, which always, I loved it, but it also bugged me because I could never be, I always tried to be as creative. I remember one time in particular that he built a jukebox out of a cardboard box and a bunch of backgammon glass pebbles, and he would sit behind it and you'd punch in the song that you wanted, and I already had them labeled behind, and you'd have to put your quarter in through the slot, and he would play your song that you wanted, and it was just the most creative thing, just one of the most creative things I've ever seen someone do, take that much time and effort to put into it, and he made everything look great. It had the disc behind the glass, and it was amazing. He did so much. He always had something going on. It was making little toy cars, putting together puzzles and glazing them to frame them and painting, and he was always good at everything. It was always, I loved it, and it was always was an inspiration to me to try and keep up and make myself better and try to keep pushing myself to kind of not try to surpass him, but just try to be there with him. But he was always a lot of fun to be around and always made everything interesting. I liked it a lot. I'll miss him and I love him. One of my most favorite memories with Colby, it's kind of an honorary one. We used to go out in the backyard and build little dirt bridges and kind of hollow out hillsides for our Green Army men to play soldiers and stuff. We were really little, probably 6 and 9. But one time we were having a little army battle on the neighbor's driveway and melted a bunch of Green Army men to the ground, to the neighbor's driveway, and they didn't necessarily appreciate that too much, but it was a lot of fun. That's one of the things I always look back on because we had so much fun doing it and then got in so much trouble afterwards, but it just made it that much more memorable.
And it's been a really good. We got a celebration going for Colby, and we've got a lot of friends that remembered him, and it's a really special night because it's bringing him back in. We know he's been with us all the years and all this time and always been here. He loves this. We built this place, the Colby, and we called it the Colby Pavilion about 7 years ago. So every once in a while you got to kind of look over your shoulder and say, oh, hey, Colby, because you know he's with us. But anyway, we hope everybody here this evening is having a great time, and we love everybody. It's all good.
I know Colby is upstairs looking down on all you beautiful people with that big smile on his face that he always had. I would like to thank John and Lori and David Adams for their band Salem Road for this wonderful celebration of life to Colby. I cannot believe it has been almost 8 years since Colby went to heaven, even though some days it seems like yesterday. Boy, does time fly. I just want to say a couple of things about Colby, even though I could talk about him all night long. It didn't matter if you were 5 years old or 80, Colby would always take the time to talk to you and see how you were doing. He played sports with the smaller kids in the neighborhood, along with his brother Seth, Danny, Anthony, and his sister Alex, even if he was a lot older than a lot of the kids in the neighborhood. I think everyone who knew him was his friend. As a parent, you try to teach your kids everything in life that you know to make them a better person. I tried, but with Colby, I think it was the other way around. He taught me so much about life, and boy, did he live life while he was here. He loved to play his guitars and go to the ocean. We both loved the ocean, and I think that's why I feel so at peace when I am there. He always wanted to help people, and that's why he was going to be a doctor. And Lori and John are just like him, with all the people they are helping every day. I think that's probably the best thing we all can do in life, the short time we are here on earth, is to help other people. I know Colby is helping a lot of people every day right now because I can see the signs. What a gift he was to all of us. I want to thank you, Lori, for giving me one of the 3 best gifts that's ever happened to me in my life, and Dina for my other 2. You all probably know I really like Kenny Chesney. He is one of my favorites. But there's a little more to the story. Colby bought me his latest CD just before the accident. And I asked him why. It wasn't my birthday or anything. And he goes, because I know you like him, Dad. And that was just the kind of things that Colby always did. And man, did them songs on that CD hit home. So I thought this verse from Kenny made sense tonight. I saw more colors in the sky than I thought were possible. It was just a beautiful silence watching another day slip away. And a reminder that there is something much bigger out there than all of us. Here's to Colby. I love you, son. We miss you so much. Till we meet again.
I was privileged to be a part of the grieving process. It was an interesting thing to watch because, as you would know, when you lose someone that close to you, you obviously grieve and grieve deeply. And I think there was a good bit of concern, especially about Lori, that she was grieving increasingly deeply and didn't seem to have an end in sight. And my understanding of what happened is essentially she woke up one morning, took a shower, and came out, and she was a totally different person. And the reason, I think, was because she realized that people don't want to hear about bad things. They want to hear about good things. And the good thing that she had was a story about her love for Colby. And what changed her life and then allowed a night like tonight was that she thought, you know, people aren't going to want to hear me cry about Colby, but I think they'd like to hear me think about him and talk about him. And so just like tonight, it's an upbeat time, it's a happy time, it's something that allows them to think happily about him and all of us together and want to be a part of it. A saying that I've enjoyed is essentially that we like to be around people who make us feel good. And so Colby continues to make us feel good by being alive through the comments that his dad just shared with us, but also with Lori and her love and all of the memorabilia that you see in here. I was thinking about what normally happens to us is that we have a sense of life, and the life burns rather intently. But to keep that burning is one of the big challenges for all of us. And sometimes we lose the flame. I think you've all been a part of birthday parties when you have a candle just like this and you blow it out. And because we think that there's no more life left in it, all of a sudden we see that it comes alive again, and we know what it is. There's an extra ingredient in this particular candle. That extra ingredient allows it to be rekindled. And I think the extra ingredient that we have in the memory of Colby is that deep sense of love. If you study all of the history of the world and the people who've made the biggest differences in the world, they all seem to, in the last analysis, come down to, is there love there? Because if there is real love and it's deep and it's genuine and it's complete inside of us, it has the ability to rekindle, and it keeps the flame burning brightly. And I think our purpose of being here tonight is to think back about the intensity of the light that he shed when he was involved and with all of us, but also to know that he can still be here in the memory. And that happens if we have genuine love. And I think every time someone has any event in their life, certainly the crisis of death, they have an ability to share with other people a message that we all need to hear again and again and again. And I think that message tonight is to realize if we love and love deeply, there's something that will last. I hope tonight we can share with other people that sense of love.
Hey everybody, I'm Mike and this is Chris here. Me, Colby, and Chris in high school ran around, the three of us, nonstop. We scheduled our classes together, we hung out together, and the only time he wasn't hanging out with us, he was either with his family or with Kinsey. But on the drive up, I talked with Chris a little bit because Lori had asked us to speak, and of course we both said yes, but we really didn't know what to talk about. Everybody knows how much we all care for Colby and everything like that. But what I came to realize towards the end of that, and Chris as well, is how much he's embedded inside of us. And as young men at the age of 15, hanging out with Colby all the time and seeing how he has his family values, how he treats his spouse at the time, how he treated friends, even a stranger. He always treated people well. He always went 100%, whether it was academics, social life, you name it, family life, it was always 100%. Even though he passed away early, he still lived a full life in that time span. And so we really looked back on it, being 26 now and that happening back then. And we're talking how many times we've looked back and sat there in silence or a moment of truth and thought of him and thought of things that he did and how it affected us and reflected upon that. And it's helped us grow up as young men, I feel like. And I think Chris gets the same sense. However, we were teenagers and we did do dumb things. And I'm going to share one of those. And I probably shouldn't. And I'm sorry, Lori, John, Jim. It's like a wedding. You know, the best man comes up and the groom's like, don't do it, don't do it. I'm not going to do it.
You're gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. So Colby has a nice car at the time, and a little after the 4th of July,
It was a couple months.
couple months maybe after the 4th of July, you've got the big mortars that you take the fuse out of and unwind and slide it down into the tube, light it and run off, and it goes up, and it's a nice aerial firework. I don't know who had them, but we still had some left over after the 4th of July. And somebody had the wisdom to be out in the country, and as we're cruising down a gravel road, throw one out the window and light it. And of course, with all of our testosterone and stupidity, we thought it was awesome. Unfortunately, the next one that we lit in the back seat, I'm not going to name any names, the fuse, as some of you know, sparks back on you. When it sparked back after it was lit, it dropped to the floorboard. At that point in time, the car is going about 5 miles an hour down the gravel road. And there's multiple expletives screamed about the car. Pick it up as being one of those instructions also with that. We have a camcorder as we're videotaping it. Why, I don't know.
It's all on video.
It's all on video. And he can't get it, so he bails. Ben in the back seat with the camcorder bails as well, leaves the camcorder, both doors open. And I'm like, Colby, man, what are we going to do? He's like, we got to bail. And we both jump out the sides as his car is rolling down about 5 miles an hour with all 4 doors open and the mortar just roasting and waiting. And a beautiful fireworks display went off dead center of his car. Purple, gold everywhere. And Colby's face of just, I'm done. I'm done. Ferris Bueller, I'm just toast. And we eventually run and catch back up to the car. And luckily it wasn't bad, but he just had little 2-inch, and I don't, Lori, Jim, do you ever see those? Little 2-inch skid marks. I wonder if you got the real story on that. Yeah. 2-inch skid marks all over the car. So somehow he managed his way through it. But that was just one of the bonehead things we did, and I figured I'd lighten it up with some of the fun we like to have back in the day. We've since matured, though, women. We've matured, ladies, I promise.
Not that much.
Don't do that anymore. Thanks, guys.
So I don't know how I follow that up, but I will say Colby was a 1%er. And I say that in the true sense of the word. Guys like him don't come around every day. And he, at 16, 17 years old, taught me and Mike and the rest of the guys that were fortunate enough to call him a brother how to live life. It's a testament to how tough it is for me to sit up here and talk to you guys 8 years later. That's how much of an impact he had on our life. And he was a 1%er. And I think about him every single day, and I'm sure all you guys do as well. He showed me and everybody else around him how to live life, and that was to the full extent. And I think everyone can agree that we're all very fortunate to have had Colby for the time that we did. And so thank you, John, and Lori and Jim and everybody else that came out to support tonight. It means a lot, and I know Colby is smiling down upon us right now. Thank you.
Whatever. Colby was pretty young, but John was getting ready to plant a garden down there, and he said, I want to see how you plant your garden. So him and Colby came up, and we got around the garden, and we was tilling and messing around, and my son had a motorcycle, so he said, David, do you mind if I ride Chase's motorcycle? And I go, we better call your mom. He goes, oh, John said it was all right, and I said, oh, absolutely no way. I got to hear from Lori's and I got to hear from her voice before you ride a motorcycle. And so I called Lori, and she's like, oh, yeah, you know Colby, he can do anything. It's fine. I go, just wanted to hear your voice. And so Chase and I was telling him, this thing's got a lot of power. You can't pop the clutch. Can't give it a lot of gas. It's got a lot of power. He goes, oh, don't worry about me. So we got the helmet strapped on him. We said, okay. Chase showed him how to do it 2 or 3 times, and he goes, oh, no problem, no problem. So we were all watching him. He popped the he went about 2 feet and opened it wide open, and the thing came up on its back wheel, and his legs flew off, and it dragged him about 20 feet through the front yard. He looked like Superman, and he finally fell over. The motor was wrapping wide open, and John was up in the garden, and he was laughing so hard he fell down. But it was quite a story. So he came back. He didn't want to ride that motorcycle anymore.
He got up, the motorcycle was just laying there, and he got up and walked away.
But anyway, like I said, there was no way I was going to let him on that bike without hearing Lori's voice. He goes, oh, John said it was all right. And I go, I got to hear it from Lori. I got to hear her voice.